Hey there, welcome back. So I was having some discussion with some of the colleagues over the LinkedIn, and I got an opportunity to work with one of the requirement where an of the partner or the prospect customer, they're planning to move from the Neo to Cloud Foundry. So there's a basic understanding in terms of the migration, which a lot of customers they are actually looking for. What is the recommended migration strategy which SAP is suggesting, and how to go with that. So there is a dedicated migration document which SAP has shared. So since I have already having some experience around the migration project, so I just thought to create a small recorded session so that it can help the community. So why do we need actually this new to Cloud Foundry, this migration? The reason is recently, not recently, basically SAP has announced that they are going to sunset the Neo environment post 31st December 2028. They will not be supporting the new environment. So if any customer, they are going for the BTP, so they are getting the Cloud Foundry environment actually. Okay, so what about the customers, the existing customers, basically, if they have to move to the Cloud Foundry, what will happen to their existing developments? What are the limitations? Or do we have any tool which can help them post migration? What all the checklists they need to take care? Because essentially it's a technical migration. We say it just a lift and shift, but while doing the lift and shift also we have to do a lot of planning actually. So they are primarily the phases are actually divided into four sections. So the very first one is the discover phase, where we are actually trying to identify the dependencies within the system, and we try to analyze any security related things. We check for the users and role setup in the existing tenant of the new environment. So that is what this is very first phase. It's very essential actually. So the more effort we are going to spend on this discover phase, it will actually going to help us during the later stages. So discovery is very important, where you analyze if there are any additional services you are expecting. You try to understand the security implementation in the current landscape. So once that discover phase is done, now the next phase comes is the preparation phase. So the preparation phase is where we try to start onboarding the tenant, that multi-cloud foundation tenant, or the Cloud Foundry tenant. We start onboarding that tenant onto our landscape. So that is where your preparation will comes into picture, and then the actual migration phase will come. The next phase will be the actual migration. The third phase, where we are moving all the artifacts from Neo to the Cloud Foundry. So all the artifacts we have to move from the Neo to Cloud Foundry. And the last phase is the post validation or the post migration phase. Basically, that is the validation phase, where we are doing the post migration. We will emphasize more on the testing part. So once we are having all the artifacts are moved to the newer environment, then the next thing is we need to start validating it before the production start using it. So we have to make sure whatever is running in the existing environment, that should be running as is in the newer environment. And at the same time, what all the partners they are integrating to our system, they should not be disrupted because of this migration. So some sort of coordination is also required, where the multiple team, multiple partners are getting involved. So those things also we have to consider. So these are the some of the phases which are primarily we have to look into. Once uh, we are into the migration cycle or the phases, so certain things we should be aware before planning for this migration. So what are the things which we are supposed to know before the migration? So basically, we need to compare both the environments. So as a normal ground rule, we have to make sure that the the functionality whatever are currently we are using, okay, so those functionalities should also be available in the newer environment as well. So we need to do some comparison as well. So doing this activity, there is a dedicated SAP node is provided. So definitely both the environment will not be the exact, so they cannot be a apple to apple comparison. So there has to be some exceptions lying within the systems as well. So for identifying the list of exceptions, we can read this SAP note, which actually comprises all the information related to the feature exceptions, what all uh, the exceptions we are supposed to know. But as a ground rule, uh, we should be aware that whatever the newer feature or not newer feature, in fact, what all the existing feature we are having, we should have those features available in the newer environment. That's a normal ground rule. So we have to make sure the features, whatever we are using in the new environment, are also available in the Cloud Foundry environment. So that comparison we have to, or that reading we have to do. So this particular SAP note will give uh, some idea around this. And at the same time, there is an uh, a, a tool also provided to us, migration assistance tool. So this migration assistant tool, what it will help us, it will actually help to pull all the artifacts, whatever we are having in the new environment, and it will push it to the newer environment. So how this tool is actually helping. So there are some postman collections are provided to us. So we need to use those postman collection to migrate those artifacts. But when we are going to use this migration assessment tool, so within this migration assessment tool also, there are certain limitations. Certain limitation means it is not an automated uh, migration basically. So we have to do some activities. Uh, we have to make sure that certain manual activities we have to perform. So what all those kind of manual activity? So and some of the activities will automatically done by the tool itself. So we do not have to worry around those. So if there are some custom tags are being used, so custom tags will not get impacted. It will automatically be as is, it will be moving. So basically it is falling under settings. So if we have implemented some custom tags, and why do we need custom tags? So we need custom tags to enforce something uh, as a best practice. If you want to enforce that while creating a package, some documentation we have to maintain. So all these things we can implement using custom tags. So custom tags will automatically imported. Now, what about the next set of integration contents? So if we are having some iflows and value maps, those will also be automatically migrated. We do not have to worry about those, and including the externalized parameters as well. If there are any externalized parameters configured, those will also be moved. Now, if there are certain OData related configurations are there. Configuration means if OData API based integrations we have done. So we can also create some API based developments as well. So if OData API is used. So if OData API based integrations are implemented on the new environment, so while taking the license, we have to make sure the target environment should have the standard addition, should have the standard addition of the integration suite. So this is the mandatory requirement if we are going to use, or if you are already using some more database API, so you have to make sure that we are opting for standard addition of integration suite. So API based artifacts are not supported if you have opted for basic addition. So basic addition will not help us to cater those cases of the development. So we should not be opting for this license. So this we should be aware of the standard addition we need to purchase. And if there are some, what about the security? So we are sorted with the integration flows and value mappings. So what about the security contents? So security contents also will be migrated, but the security contents with the user ID and credentials. Let's say if there are some credentials created for the success factors or user credentials are created. So those will be migrated, but the passwords we have to maintain manually because of security reason. So user ID and password needs to be maintained in the newer environment. And the reason for this is because of the sensitive information. Same goes for the OAuth credentials. So if we have created any OAuth credentials as well, so we have to maintain user ID and password. The user ID will be there, but you need to maintain the password manually. You need to maintain the password manually. So that we should be aware. Apart from this, if we have created any access policies, if we are having any access policies, those will be anyways moving to the newer environment. We do not have to worry about that. Those access policies will be available. If there are any PGP keys, PGP keys we have to do import manually in the newer environment. Same way, if we are having PGP keys or if we are having any database related material. So if you are having any DB related materials, those also we have to import manually. If there are any, even we are having key pair, so we maintain key pair as well. So those will also be manually we have to migrate. Number ranges. Number ranges will be automatically migrated using that tool. We do not have to worry about number ranges. Same way, we do not have to worry about the variable. So we can have local and global variables. So local and global variable will also be migrated. Same way, if we are having data stores, the local and global data stores can also be automatically migrated. What about the other persistence? We are having a persistence shape as well. If we are having that persistence shape, in that case, we have to import it. We have to do this activity manually. It cannot be an automated way. So message persistent content, as well as if there are any partner directory contents are there, that will also require a manual intervention. So persist, message persist, and partner directory. So these also needs to be maintained manually. Other thing, some customers, they are extensively dependent on the monitoring status. So what about the monitoring logs we are having in the new environment? How we can move those logs to the Cloud Foundry? So monitoring data from the source can't be migrated. So for these kind of requirement, we need to think some out of the box solution. So we have to think of a way around where we can dump the data from the Neo environment, the monitor related logs, to somewhere else, and then we need to use that as part of the logging. If you want to do a referencing from the previous messages, so that we have to think some out of the box. So the easier way would be we are having some set of OData APIs, some set of OData APIs, message processing log APIs and message stores API. Using these API, we can use the design, means we can use these APIs to build a design actually. So these APIs, these OData APIs will help us to pull data from the respective environment. So it can help to pull the data, monitor related data, and we can push it to any third-party database. And we have to make sure that when we are going to decommission this or shut down the new environment. So prior to that, if the monitoring data is important, then we have to definitely think around this way around. Apart from that, once we are aware that these kind of limitations we are having, so but how can we do this migration, this entire migration? So for this, we have to get the Postman collection. Postman collection we have to download from the SAP. So this is the node which we have to use. So if you open this particular node, so when you come to this particular node, at the bottom section, you will find information about downloading. So here there's a download. So we need to download this zip file, and then we need to basically you need to unzip, and then you need to import the Postman collection. So it has a couple of Postman collections, and using those Postman collection, actually, we will be doing this entire migration. So as a prerequisite, we should be having the Postman collection downloaded. And for downloading the Postman collection, this is the node which we have to follow. So once we have this download, then the migration will be pretty simple. We need to create certain credentials. So how these Postman collections are actually working? So this Postman collection will be needing OAuth credentials for accessing. So now what we have to do, we have to move from Neo to Cloud Foundry. So we will be creating OAuth credentials on the new environment. And at the same time, we would also be needing OAuth credentials at the Cloud Foundry. So for how to create the credentials, so this can also be referred as a part of the preparation migration preparation. So there is a help document for this as well. So if you're not aware of this, then you can follow this particular link. And same way, it is for Neo. And same way, if we have to establish the or create the OAuth for the Cloud Foundry, then we need to follow this link. So this help link will help you to get the link. to get the entire process, how to create the OAuth. So this document will this help document will help you guide this. Apart from this, we have to create. So when we are going to create the OAuth and all, we have to assign certain roles as well to the user, where we are having this OAuth client. So when we will be using the OAuth credentials, so for that OAuth credential, the user, whatever we are going to use, that should have certain roles. So these are the roles which we would be needing for the Cloud Foundry. And same way, these are the set of the roles which we would be needing for the Cloud Foundry. The above roles are for the Neo. So the only difference is in place of this period, there will be underscore. The role names will be same. So apart from this, there would not be any issues. Once we are having these credentials ready with us, we can configure the Postman collection, and we just need to execute the Postman collections in a sequential format. So if you see here, so these Postman collection needs to be executed in the described sequence. And one thing we have to make sure that when we are going to import the value mappings and the integration flow or any of the artifact, you have to make sure that no object should be in draft state. So if any of the object will be in the draft state, it will not allow. So considering these prerequisites, it will be easier for you to do this migration, and you can anyways follow the help document that will give you more clarity. So this was just a quick glimpse of the migration approach what SAP is recommending. I hope you have found this little interesting, and thank you so much for watching this.